Welcome back to my channel. My name is Noma and I'm a Zimbabwean living in South Africa for over 13 years now. So if you missed part 1 where I talked about the first set of cultural shocks I experienced after moving here, be sure to check it out. It's linked in the description box. So today we are continuing that conversation, diving into even more cultural differences that left me speechless. So let's jump right in. So one of the first thing I noticed when I moved here is how siblings call each other by their first names. So in Zimbabwe, it's not just a name, you have to put a title as a sign of respect. So for example, you would say Sis Noma, referring to your older sister, or Mukoma Walter, referring to your older brother. So it's a way of showing love and respect for their positions in the family. So but here in South Africa, I realized siblings just call each other by their names, no titles attached. At first I thought it was disrespectful, but I realized it's just a cultural difference, not a lack of respect. So another thing that shocked me was how young people greet adults in South Africa. So in Zimbabwe, when you greet an elder, you bend slightly or even kneel a little as a sign of respect. So it's such a big part of our culture that not doing it feels rude. But in South Africa, there's no bending or kneeling. It's simple greeting, sometimes even from a distance. So it took me some time to get used to this because I kept expecting people to show the same gestures I grew up with. So in Zimbabwe, greeting someone often involves a handshake, especially when you're meeting someone for the first time. So it's seen as a polite and respectful gesture. So here in South Africa, people don't usually shake hands as much. So it's more common to just greet verbally, maybe give a hug if you're close, or even just acknowledging someone from where you are standing. So it felt so casual compared to what I was used to. But now I see it's just a different way of connecting. So this one was a huge surprise. So when I first arrived in South Africa, if you sit in the front seat of a taxi, you automatically become the conductor. So you are responsible for collecting money from the passengers, yes, and calculating fares and giving out change. So back in Zimbabwe, there is always a dedicated conductor who handles all of that, so passengers don't have to worry about anything except paying. So I remember the first time it happened to me, I was so lost and I was so confused, but now it feels like second nature. So another cultural shock for me was the social grant system in South Africa. So after giving birth, mothers can apply for child grants and receive money monthly to help support their children. So in Zimbabwe, there is no such system, and families, they have to fend for themselves regardless of their financial situation. So I was so impressed by this system and how it helps reduce poverty for many families. So it's truly life-changing. So this one still makes me smile when I think about it. So in South Africa, many women refer to the father of their child as their boyfriend, even if they've been living together for years. So in Zimbabwe, as soon as you start living with a man, people automatically consider him your husband. So even if you're not officially married. So at first I thought this was strange, but then I realized it's just being honest about the relationship status. So it's refreshing actually. So something else that surprised me was how common it is for women to drink beer here in South Africa. So in Zimbabwe back then, drinking beer was mainly associated with men, and very few women would drink in public. So in South Africa, women drink beer just as much as men. So it's like a 50-50 thing. So I found it shocking at first, but I later realized that it's just normal here, and no one thinks twice about it. So this one right here sounds crazy, I know. Yes, it is what it is. So another shock for me was seeing how many women here are naturally voluptuous. Yes, so even the slimmer ladies usually have some curves. There's always a little bump here and there. So back in Zimbabwe, having a curvy body is rare. You would maybe find one lady on the whole street who was curvy, and she would be well known because of her body. But here it's common that it's not even a big deal. So at first I was in awe, but now I see it's just part of the beauty of diversity here in South Africa. So one last cultural shock that really surprised me was seeing how girls can wear very short and revealing clothes even when their fathers are around. So in Zimbabwe, you cannot wear anything that goes above your knees when your father is present. So it's seen as disrespectful. You're expected to wear longer skirts or long dresses or medium length skirts or dresses. So in South Africa, it's normal and no one really bats an eye. So at first I was shocked because I kept thinking, how can you dress like that with your dad in the same house? But now I understand it's just part of the culture. Those are just a few more cultural shocks I experienced when I moved to South Africa. So it's amazing how much you can learn about a country just by noticing the little things. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, do not forget to share and subscribe to my channel. And if you have experienced any cultural shocks of your own, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your stories. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.